So we have Demo here from Blockdaemon. Thank you for joining me today. And I'd like to start with, what does Blockdaemon do?
Sure. It's great to be here with you and super excited about this opportunity. Blockdaemon's been in existence since 2017, so quite some time. We got our start by running nodes as an infrastructure, so blockchain, Bitcoin nodes and Ethereum nodes. And that led into supporting staking infrastructure. So we support nodes as a service, staking infrastructure. We also are in the wallet business. We acquired a wallet MPC company about 2.5 years ago, where we supply secure wallet technology to key institutions in space. And also with the recent acquisition of Expand.network, which is where I came from, we're supplying DeFi infrastructure. So we have 4 lines of business, 4 different product lines and revenue streams. And also on the protocol side, the protocol permeates the entire business, where we support about 85 different chains and protocols that feed each of those business units.
So overall, how does Blockdaemon fit? What would be? It's so diverse. There's so many things going on that you guys do.
Yeah.
So is there a word that summarizes what the company does, or a few words, like a high overview?
Yeah, I think we're the Shopify of Web3 in essence. I mean, that's really kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to make accessing Web3 super uniform, easy, and in one kind of user interface. So if I have one user interface, I can stand up a node, I can access staking validators to earn on my staking tokens. I can also secure a wallet technology and build my own wallet technology. And I can also access decentralized exchanges for swap execution and sourcing of on-chain data.
So it's like a one-stop shop.
One-stop shop. It's the Shopify for Web3.
I like that.
Exactly.
Okay, so with the institutional growth going on, what kinds of demands or trends are you seeing from traditional finance firms entering into Web3?
Quite a lot. I think, we've been in the business, as I said, for, north of 7 years. We've been very Web2, Web3 institutional focused. 40% of the top 10 banks are customers of Blockdaemon. Folks like Goldman and JP Morgan and Citi, all on the cap table as well as customers. And we also supply well over 50% of other large institutions and VCs and everyone in the space. So we're very focused on that. And in order to be the node infrastructure and staking infrastructure and wallet provider for institutions, security is an issue, compliance is an issue, AML KYC is a huge issue, being ISO compliant is super important and SOC compliant, having resiliency and redundancy in our node infrastructure so we can deploy nodes in 70 different geographical locations, fully redundant and resilient. We have DDoS protection across all those particular entities to make sure we're protecting our top institutions. So our view is very institutional focus, 99.9% uptime and higher .9s. So that's really our focus, and the clients are trusting us. Institutions trust us to be that institutional provider for Web3.
How do you onboard them from Web2 to Web3, or are they just kind of gravitating towards your business because there's that curiosity, what's going on, we need to do this?
So usually the entry point for someone that's dipping their toes into the blockchain ecosystem of Web3, they usually start by running a node, and they want to start by running a Bitcoin node or an Ethereum node or a Solana node, and we supply that infrastructure both in kind of a API access, or we'll run dedicated nodes depending upon their requirements. They'll be just dedicated for that particular institution. So that's usually kind of the first step in, and or other institutions may hold some tokens, and they say, okay, well, I want to put these tokens to work. What can I do with these tokens? Can I earn on them? Can I contribute to the proof of stake ecosystem and help the ecosystem, but also earn for doing so? So those are usually the first 2 steps. And then the other entry level is, hey, I want to get into this. I want to support my customers. I need to be able to securely store assets, and they also start with the wallet. right? So that's usually another entry point into where we provide the entire software development kit, where clients can then build their entire governance principles, manage 100% of their keys. They can build a wallet to their specifications on their premise if they wish, and build to their customized specs. And we provide that SDK kit for them to do so. We also provide, hey, if you want a wallet, we can give you that too as well. And then,
customization.
so it's a customization on board, yes.
Okay, so there's like, here's everything we can offer you
Yes.
on top of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And clients use us on the institution side once they get into it. It's where we're extending their vendor footprint, right? We're consolidating their vendor footprint. We're eliminating excess costs where they don't have to go to one company to run nodes, another company to run staking, another company to do a wallet, another company to provide trading infrastructure. They could work with us strategically, and we can provide any and all of those capabilities so they can reduce their vendor footprint, reduce their expenses, and have a strategic partnership with Blockdaemon and help them get much more comfortable into the Web3 institutional world that we're
Right,
providing.
without having everything here.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So which layer 2s are resonating most with your clients today? And what features are tipping the scales for enterprise adoption?
Yeah, layer 2s are interesting. It's definitely for efficiency and cost enhancements and speed of execution. We definitely work with quite a few of them, Base, Mantle, Stacks, to name a few. But we've integrated Arbitrum, and we've integrated many other protocols, especially on the DeFi side, where we've integrated about 6 to 8 layer 2s to support the DeFi trading infrastructure that we support. But it's really for those efficiencies. And so those are the things that we're doing and partnering with those firms. So we really listen to our customers. They tell us who we want to work with. They guide us, because again, we support 85 different chains and protocols, including layer 1s and layer 2s, EVM and non-EVM chains. So our job is really to listen attunely to our customers, understand what's happening in the trends, in the space, and be able to provide that support across all those 4 business lines that I mentioned.
Okay, so again, it's sort of like where they're not limited. There's so many options.
Yeah, they're not limited at all. And if there's a new chain coming out, we work with those foundations. We work within their testnet ecosystem, supply them feedback, give them feedback on how the hardware infrastructure is working on the specs that they provided us, and then we kind of modify that with the foundation, and then we get ready for the mainnet launch for that chain, and then we go mainnet with that chain, because we're doing that one to support the ecosystem, to support the foundation, but that's usually all driven by customer demand and customer requests to support that chain.
Okay. Can you share how many I don't know if you can or not, but can you share how many institutions are currently using Blockdaemon's staking services?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we have well over 400 institutions that we call our customer base, approaching 500, if not close to that or exceeded that already. And the vast majority of them are using us for staking. So we have quite a bit of staking infrastructure companies, to where, again, we support well over, on the staking side, about 50 plus protocols on the proof of stake side, and the vast majority of institutions, venture capital, custodians, and so on and so forth. The entire ecosystem, wallet providers, both custody and non-custodial, are using us as their integration for staking. So we, as an institutional provider, we work with the regulated custodians, we integrate with the regulated custodians, because most institutions will want to funnel their staking activity through a regulated custodian, and we work with each and every one of them around the globe in order to support our customer base.
I see. So yeah, you make sure that you're above board and you're compliant. And I'm just curious too, like, are you finding there's different regulations, like say America to Canada, or
Yeah, each geographical region has their own variation of how they're viewing the crypto landscape and what they're doing to kind of regulate the crypto landscape. It's good that we now have a change of administration that is much more positive in the States as it pertains to blockchain and crypto. So that is driving a good deal of momentum and institutional adoption. You're seeing a lot more interest in accessing the DeFi ecosystems. You're getting much more interest in saying, hey, I want to get involved in this now as a node provider, or being a part of the stablecoin industry or payments or what have you, on and off ramps. So yes, we're completely seeing a lot more of that. Then you have to comply with your European, the FSAs within the UK, MiCA within the broader European ecosystem, and then your Asian entities. So yes, we work across all those jurisdictions and making sure that our product is completely compliant,
Right.
where we need to be and have to be, and
Right.
making sure that we take that lens from a AML KYC perspective, our ISO certification. There's a compliance regulatory thing for how node infrastructure companies should operate. Forgot the acronym at the moment, but we're compliant and we follow those guidelines to be within how the standards are being set, both locally and globally, for us to operate.
That's great. So it's like if I'm a Canadian and I want to use your service, you're already compliant with all the regulations here. So I don't have to worry that I'm signing up to something that, I down the road might be like, well, it's not regulated here.
Yeah, just to be clear, right? There's not a regulatory requirement for Blockdaemon, but we are very focused on what are the regulatory specifics in each particular region, and making sure that we're adhering to and are compliant where we need to be. But there's no demand at the moment for Blockdaemon to say, hey, staking is regulated, you need to follow these rules. It's those things are forthcoming, I think, and I think we'll be compliant in those regards. Obviously, we'll take that lens and be very proactive. And we have a whole group of folks that are focused on working in DC on the Hill, making sure we're participating in how the legislation is being crafted and how we can help. And then we're also huge environments in Europe and in Asia where we're participating in all those venues as Blockdaemon to talk about the industry, talk about what we do, and talk about how we can be compliant in specifics of those rules.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so what are 3 pieces of advice you give to anyone trying to build a Web3 brand that'll actually last?
Well, I think you can't compromise on security, right? Security is paramount. There's still a lot of issues with our space. Our industry is very fragmented. There's a lot of tribalism in our industry based upon the chain that you love and support. That causes a great deal of fragmentation. It doesn't cause for things to work together. Institutions are really requiring access to private chains because they want the control. They want to be able to permission people in, and they want the governance controls. But there also is a demand from the institutions requesting access to public chains and how those two interoperate, right? So we're working on things like that at Blockdaemon. That's why we provide one universal interface, as I mentioned earlier, to allow people to, abstracting the complexities of how you work with each particular chain and the idiosyncrasies of each chain. We try to abstract all that complexity, simplify it, where the code is just all you got to change is the chain name, and everything else complies. So if I want to stand up a node, whether it's a Solana node or an Ethereum node, code's basically the same, except for the name change. Same on the staking validator side, and same on the wallet side. Really, the wallet is create your own software development kit and build your own wallet to your specifications.
Right.
And then we are launching, another wallet in the cloud relatively soon. And then on the DeFi side, obviously, we abstract all the complexities so people can connect and interact with the decentralized exchanges, whether they want to add and remove liquidity in lending venues or connect to liquid staking venues. But that's the stuff there. Our job is really to provide that simple interface, abstract the complexities, and really make it easy. Because a user like me and you, right? If we want to own a stablecoin, USDC, USDT, PayPal stablecoin, whatever, there's a million of them out there now. You and I probably don't care what chain it's on, or we shouldn't care what chain it's on. You just want the stablecoin.
Yes.
And that's what we're doing at Blockdaemon with the Expand acquisition and through our whole universal interface, is really abstract that complexity. So if I want to click a button and own USDC, it could be on Stellar, it could be on Ethereum, it could be on Solana, it could be anywhere.
Yes.
You shouldn't care.
Right.
And you shouldn't have to go through multiple stages of bridging and costly steps to kind of get that transaction done. You want to click once, and you want to be able to say, okay, I own USDC now, irrespective of the chain that it's on, and then you can use it to your specifications of how you want to use that stablecoin in the future.
Okay. Yes, it simplifies it a lot.
Trying to. That's exactly our mission at Blockdaemon.
Which is important when trying to get people to go from Web 2 to Web 3. And
Yes.
Yeah.
You really want to extract all that, and we build out very detailed docs that are very developer focused and technology focused. We provide user guides, how-to guides. We provide wares where they can drop their API key in and go through the protocols and chains that they want to access, and we'll give them the code base that they can pretty much copy and paste and put it in their environment. So our job is really to simplify this, abstract the complexities, provide one single user interface for them to get to anything that they want to do with Blockdaemon.
Right. It's great. And then one final question. So what's next for Blockdaemon? How do you see the company's role growing in the Web3 space over the next few years?
So I think what's really exciting is kind of the acquisition that Blockdaemon just acquired Expand.network, which is a DeFi infrastructure company. With the change in the regulatory landscape in the States, we see a much more positive view towards blockchain, and we're seeing much more interest in institutional DeFi access. So, we provide obviously connectivity into a centralized exchange world, but now we're providing connectivity into the decentralized exchange world. And we're seeing a great deal of uptick in clients that want to integrate our staking services along with our DeFi trading swap services as part of their platform. So these are some of the things that we're super excited about.
So there's a lot of growing going on, and sort of, what's the word, like seeing what the trends are, seeing what you can kind of build with the new technology, and trying to onboard
new chains and protocols.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chains and protocols coming down. There are a lot of DeFi things coming down the pipe where people can earn on certain aspects. People are excited about trying to earn on their Bitcoin. They obviously want to earn on their Ethereum. They want to earn on their stable coins. So those are the things that clients are asking us to provide, and that's what the industry is providing. And it's our job as an infrastructure provider is to be able to provide access to any and all those things that our client wants in a systemized, unified, single onboarded way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess I'm just curious, how do you get your word out there about it? How do you, do people come to you guys, or are you having to approach different institutions?
It's a combination of both, right? We've been in the space now for over 7 years. The Blockdaemon name is very well known and recognized. We have a great brand, a great reputation in the space of being the institutional provider for Web3. Everything comes in, it just comes in kind of over the fence randomly. We get referrals from our investors and partners. We get referrals from the VC community that are probably on our cap table, but the whole ecosystem is very collaborative in that regard, and we get a lot of recommendations from the ecosystem since we've been in the space. But we have a very excellent marketing department that works diligently on lead generation, all the top of the funnel type of things that we try to do, and then let the great sales team that we have take it from there and kind of operate and work with our clients. We've got, like I said, north of 400 plus institutional grade clients. A lot of the activity, since we do such a great job, is really doing more with each one of them, right? So a huge part of our success is we may start here, but then eventually 12 to 18 to 24 months later, we're here with that client. We're eliminating their vendor, we're consolidating their vendor footprint, we're extending their budget, we're a partner for them on the development infrastructure side. So we're really an extension of their staff, helping them do what they need to do and what they want to do in the space.
It's all in one place.
Yes.
Okay. And is there anything else you'd like to speak about Blockdaemon or any other last?
Just super excited about the industry in general. I think in all facets of the globe, it's fairly positive to see the momentum. It's good to see the regulatory requirements being shaped and discussed across the globe, especially in the United States. We've got some hopefully catching up to do with the rest of the world, but it's coming, which is great. But the attitude is much more positive, which is great. So really super excited about that. You can feel it in the air and the buzz. Obviously, there's a lot of global macro issues that take shape, and those things get resolved. I think it's just going to be a stronger propensity for the entire ecosystem to grow and appreciate.
Right, and to catch up as well, other countries perhaps to catch up. If America becomes, like the place where people for crypto and Web3, then other countries are going to really have to follow if they're becoming like the mecca for it, which I think is really great what the new administration is doing.
Yeah, and that's the other key component for us too, right? Is that, to my knowledge, Blockdaemon is really the only US-based entity in the node infrastructure, staking infrastructure space. Every other entity is a foreign entity. Not that that's bad, but if you're working with the US regulators and you're looking with the compliant, I think that provides an advantage to us, and because we're ISO and SOC compliant, we have audited financials. We adhere to the AML KYC regulatory framework as we talked about earlier. So we are following and dotting our I's and crossing our T's and making sure we are in good standing as we go down the path of attracting new investors, attracting new customers. We can be readily compliant on their request of how we can meet their needs. So it's exciting to be a US-based entity. Constantine, our CEO, is very ever present in Washington and really helping, being a part of those particular committees as it pertains to crypto and blockchain. He's got a lot of wisdom and experience being in the space for a very long time, and a lot of people really work with him and look up to him to kind of provide a lot of that. He's got a lot to offer.
So he goes there as almost like an advisor, but here's my experience, and here's what I'm seeing, and here's what I can recommend and suggest.
What clients are asking for, what clients are wanting, kind of where the industry is going, and how can we work together. I think all those
That's
things.
Great,
are nice.
And they're, the administration is like, yes, well, we want to hear your inputs.
Yeah, it's super important for us and to make sure we capture this opportunity and lay down the proper foundation.
And you guys would have that experience.
We do. I mean, being in business for from the beginning, well over 7 years, building the business with all the top institutional clients that we have across the industry. I think we have a knowledgeable, strong voice that we can help in this process.
Yes. And one last thing is, what's your website?
Blockdaemon.com.
Oh, nice and simple to the point. And you can also be followed on X.
I can be followed on X. I can be followed on LinkedIn. I can,
all the socials.
All the ADD channels necessary to communicate that we have nowadays. Yes, I'm ever present.
Amazing.